Good morning. I have just finished up my coffee and stillness and silence this morning. And like I said last week, I am going to give you a little bit of an update on what I've been doing with fitness for the past couple of months. So I am going to get dressed and head down to the gym so that I can tell you some more. So just for some context, I have been really skinny for my entire life, and most of that is genetics. Pretty much everyone on my dad's side is really skinny without having to try. So I have been lifting weights for about 10 years, and about 2 years ago, I decided that I was going to try to actually intentionally put on some muscle. About that time, I weighed around 165 pounds, and within about a year or so, I had put on about 10 pounds. Not all of that was muscle by any chance, but I did it. And so then about a year ago again, I decided to try and cut a bunch of that weight and try to get down to as low of a body fat as I could. And so I got down to around 14.5%, which put me at about 175 pounds. So that was last summer, and I have spent the time between July and January doing what's normally called a bulk, which is basically just putting on a bunch of weight. And I didn't really do it super clean. I mean, I try to eat healthy in general, but I definitely ate some pizza is what I'm saying. And so by the end of that period of time, I ended up weighing at most around 196 pounds, which is the most I've ever weighed. So starting at the end of January, I went into a cut where I'm trying to lose a bunch of that weight, mostly trying to focus on maintaining muscle if possible. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on how that process is going for me. So when I started my cut at the beginning of February, I really just started by focusing on getting my step count back up. I was shooting for about 8,000 steps a day has been my goal. Haven't always gotten there. Sometimes I do, which is awesome. I also started taking out a few meals a week in preparation for Lent, which started in March, which I'll get to more in a minute. That mostly helped with any calorie restriction I needed to do. And so I basically kind of worked backwards from when Lent started, and I took out a couple of meals per day. At first, the weight came off really fast, actually, and I lost about 5 pounds in February, which was pretty encouraging and exciting. And I really just stuck with my normal workout routine, didn't really change anything else. I'm gonna get back to some squats. So by the end of March, I was down, like I said, about 5 pounds to around 191 from about 196. And so that put me at about 18% body fat, where I had like 18.7, which is a good bit higher than I would like to be. So moving into March, when Lent started, I have been eating only dinner Monday through Saturday, and I do a smoothie, like a protein smoothie, right before my workout at around 3 or 4 throughout the week. And so that has helped me a lot with my calorie deficit, and it's also serving another more obvious spiritual purpose as well. And so on top of that, I decided it would be a good idea to start getting into what's called hybrid training, which I'll give you a little more details about here in a second. Gotta go do some more squats. During the month of March, I was severely limiting my calorie intake because of Lent, and continued to watch the weight come off. There was a pretty significant plateau there for a minute, but I've learned that that's really just my body adjusting to the new normal, and it's pretty typical. And so I just try not to get discouraged, and I just keep pushing through. By the end of the month, I had lost another couple pounds and was down in the like 188 range. When it came to hybrid training, I decided to just try something new. Why not? In the middle of a cut, in the middle of Lent. And hybrid training, for those that aren't familiar, is when you try and build and increase your fitness in multiple fitness areas at the same time. And so I have been lifting weights, like I said, for a while, and so that has kind of been my main focus. And like I said in my last video, my cardio is terrible. And so I decided to do hybrid training because I wanted to build up my cardio training at the same time. So I've been really working on that. That has looked like more running, and it has also looked like some assault bike and row machine as well. I'm gonna give you some updates on that after I do these Romanian deadlifts. The hybrid training has been a pretty big adjustment for me. I basically am doing like 5 times as much cardio as I used to. The other change is that I'm doing about 1 week focused on power for either my upper body or my lower body. And then the other week I do hypertrophy or muscle building focus for the same muscle group, and I alternate weeks. So that has meant lifting a lot heavier, which I'm also not super used to. I tend to focus more on hypertrophy or muscle building, and so lifting heavy is hard for me. The great news is that even through the month of March, I was almost entirely able to keep pushing, to keep increasing my 1 rep maxes, and I'm gonna put those details right here. In recent weeks, in the month of April, that has taken a turn, and I will give more updates on that in a couple months when I do my final update on all this progress. But I've been really encouraged because for everything but squats, I am lifting more than I have ever lifted. So I'm gonna get back to those Romanian deadlifts, and I'll give you a couple more updates. So like I said, I am now down to like 188 pounds, around 17% body fat, which is still not really where I want to be. My goal long-term by the end of May is to get to about 12% body fat, which would be the lowest I've been while trying to lift weights. And that would put me hopefully around 180 pounds. That's gonna be really hard. Not sure that I'm gonna get there, but I like to set really high goals and just see how close I can cut it. The next couple of months are gonna look like finishing Lent. There's about a week and a half more of that. My plan is to kind of taper off of Lent and only add 1 day of eating 3 meals a day once a week. And then hopefully by my birthday, which is May 11th, I will be back to my normal eating routine. And hopefully that will continue to help me with my progress. I know some people prefer to do like 3 meals with calorie cutting. Intermittent fasting just is a lot simpler for me. And between that and about 2 cups of coffee a day, I'm really enjoying the progress. So I'm gonna finish up here in a second, but first I'm gonna do some dumbbell presses. So like I said, nothing crazy. I have just really grown to see my fitness journey as a way to learn more about myself and learn more about how I handle challenges and frustrations when growth and progress doesn't come every time. And it's really taught me a lot about perseverance. And so at the same time, obviously, it's just good for my body. It's good for my mind. And so I am hoping that in a couple of weeks, I will be down about 8 more pounds, about 5% more body fat off, hopefully running a little bit faster, hopefully lifting a little bit more weight. But until then, I am gonna finish this workout. But as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.